International Mime Festival. Finally this evening, the London-based musician Ryan McCaffrey began writing and composing original songs back in 2006 for a six-piece jazz group, eventually forming the band Cong-Fusion. After collaborating with Soul to Soul's MC Emix on a 2018 single released to coincide with Anti-Bullying Week, the band launched their debut album at the start of last year and are now preparing for a gig at Pizza Express in Soho this month. Well, they're also releasing a new single. Ryan's been telling Paul Moore all about it.
The music we make is jazz. Cong-Fusion actually originated probably about 2010, in its early stages before it was called Cong-Fusion. I created a six-piece band. I had a lot of compositions that I wrote during my years at Birmingham Conservatoire. Some of these which were recorded in a studio as part of my final project. I never actually sort of thought about, well, I did think about performing them, but I didn't know how I'd go about that because I wanted to get very successful with the band, but I was didn't believe enough in the music to be able to say, well, it's going to be mainstream enough to be able to be played on mainstream radio stations, etc., and generate enough audience.
You're releasing a new single. It's a cover of Rather Be, a 2014 song by Clean Bandit. Can you tell us a little bit more about why you've covered this song?
I was mentored by a guy called Simon Payne. He was a great mentor, and he always used to say to me, the music these days is not really, you take away the words and there's not enough melody to be able to stand up by itself. And I did look into this, and it is pretty true. Mostly the modern songs that are coming out today, there's no melody. But with Rather Be, I thought this is quite a bit of an exception. It has actually stood a bit of test of time. It's stayed around for quite a long time. It's probably Clean Bandit's biggest hit, and it's probably tunes don't really stay around for long, but this one does. And I sort of played it in this Afro-Cuban groove, and I thought it really worked.
Initially, you released your debut album called The World As We Know It. Why did you feel it was important to base an album on the topic of climate change?
I really wanted to write something which was important about climate change. I mean, on the cruise ships I've been to places like Alaska, and every week we visited these glaciers that were just falling into the sea. And yes, they fall every year, they recede and they come back. But the guides were telling us, some of those glaciers, they're receded so far up the mountain, they're no longer coming down into the sea anymore. And every week we'd go and it would just change. It would look completely different. The blue was just, where it was really bright blue was where it had recently fallen, or what they call calving. And that had quite an impact on, my sort of understanding of how fast this is actually taking place. So yeah, I just wanted to write a piece of music about something like that, which I felt was important. And lo and behold, this year, London was burning in the summer. It's just crazy, So and this piece of music just mapped perfectly, because it doesn't need any words, it just says it all. And we actually made I took a load of videos from all my travels, so the actual video for The World As We Know It, the music video, is just made up of clips from my travels around the world, and seeing animals and wildlife. What I've seen has been I've been to places like Costa Rica, just seeing parrots and trees, scarlet macaws just flying free, and sloths and monkeys, and then I went scuba diving and I saw whales and sharks, and I've had a really good time, and I wanted to show that off as well, that how beautiful the world is, and if we don't do anything about it, then we're going to lose it.
There you go, Cong-Fusion's gig at Pizza Express Soho on January the 15th. Their cover of Rather Be is due for release on the 20th across streaming platforms. A little check on the weather before we leave you. Staying dry and hovering around double figures.